Hey, what's up guys? We are here with our low level account, level 63, 64, J-Dub here. Gonna go show off some more attack strategies that you could possibly use in the lower levels that are pretty effective. It does require elite boosted archers. Those guys are insanely good. So hopefully, when you are at a lower level, you can find an alliance that will have elite boosted archers or elite boosted knights. You want to have those guys that give you a ton of extra power. So here it is. This is what we are looking at here. We're looking at Shield Spell, Sonic Blast, Bladestorm. If you don't have the Sonic Blast, you can change it out for, say, Firestorm. When you are getting up into the 2000 trophy range, you are seeing a lot of Fireball Towers. That's why I said you want a Firestorm instead of, say, Sonic Blast if you don't have Sonic Blast. Shield Spell is a great spell to use with the Archers or the Knights when they are elite boosted. You can see we only have it at level 4. It gives us 901 additional HP. You could also use the heal spell as well. But as you get up into tougher competition, you're going to want to use the shield spell. It's just overall better. It has higher levels and a lot stronger. And it keeps your guys alive rather than them dying in one shot. Because at higher levels, people do kill you in one shot. We have mummies and pyromancers on. And we'll go ahead and attack this base. 250,000 or so is nothing to laugh about. It's a great loot. So we're going to spam out a whole bunch of archers. Shield them up and now start running forward with our king. Go after everything. We're going to tag them all with our Bladestorm right there. Tag everything that we can. Go ahead and pop our Sonic Blast to help hit those guys. Going to bring out a bunch more archers. Going to scream so they get rid of that frost or slowness debuff on them. We are going to come back over here and chill with our group of units. Help them out just a little bit. We're going to summon out a couple Pyromancers now, and that will help clean up a lot of the Firebolt Towers. Although this base seems to have a ton of Snake Towers. So we're going to run back and shield them up. And now that we have a sizable army, I'm going to scream to make them go a little bit quicker. Now that we have a sizable army, and they're pretty far into the base, we're going to start just spamming out mummies. Mummies are great because they spawn right next to you, and they help deal with all the, excess troops, like these paladins that we're seeing here now. It gives you a great line of defense. They'll also do a decent damage to the barricades and the blockades. But the biggest selling point is that they actually spawn right next to you. So you see we have 50 some odd seconds left. We're at the castle gate, so we've already crushed it. A tremendous amount of time here. We're just going to go and kill each tower that's on the side. Spawn out another mummy. You got to just be careful with the mummies because they are very hard to move. You can't push them around, and they can get in your way. Even though they are your units, they still are very hard to move around. So after the gold bonus, we're up to 360,000. Nice amount of loot right here. Gonna go do a couple more attacks with the same kind of strategy. And this is a pretty universal strategy here. Almost any base that you come across, this kind of attack strategy will work. And unfortunately, we're not seeing anything good loot-wise. We just saw 200,000. Alright, we'll go after this one right here. Elite boosted paladins and elite boosted archers on the defense. Elite boosted barricades as well. So the barricades are going to eat up a ton of our time. The paladins are also going to absorb a lot of the damage because they're resistant to piercing, heavily resistant to piercing. So So we are going to have to utilize our Sonic Blast a little bit more on them. Bring in a couple more Pyromancers early on. And then we also will want to bring out a Mummy now, because the Mummy does poison damage and the Paladins are weak to poison damage. And we're going to sit back over here and recover. A very, very good use of Gargoyles in his waves, and you can see he's devouring a lot of our troops. So we're trying to stay with our units as much as possible so we can make sure that they stay alive. Trying to work with the units as a team. Because they're very, very precious. You can see they're almost dead. We're going to come back over here. So here we are just going to make a beeline for it for the castle gates. Spawned out a Mummy there. And now just hope that we can take down the castle gate. So we rush forward because we lost a lot of time. And now we're just going to, again, spawn out Mummies. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to beat this base. But very, very close right there. If we would have just rushed a little bit sooner, could have taken that base down. We wouldn't have gotten 100%, but we would have done a decent amount of job. Probably been able to take down the castle gate. You see 70%, a good amount of loot. Those elite boosted paladins are a very, very tough counter for the boosted archers. So in that situation, you might want to swap out the Pyromancer for a Mortar. Mortars do poison damage, and they do a lot of poison damage. And again, the Paladins are weak to the Mortar. So we'll go here. When you are using that, you do want to kill the spikes because the archers won't attack the spikes and they'll just walk over them and they'll die. The archers have a lowish amount of HP. You do want to get an ice weapon or ice glove. You can see we don't have an ice weapon or ice glove on our hero here. We have a fire weapon or fire sword or fire glove. So we're burning the towers, burning the barricades, and that burning effect is kind of worthless, doesn't really do much. This is why we have to stay with the units, because those bombs are just blowing up all of our archers. If we're able to stay with the units, we're able to protect them, knock some of the bombs back, and they're also able to give them the shield spell constantly over again so they don't die. So even if the bombs get and hit them, only their shielded HP is going down, not their real HP is actually going down. So again, for this base, a lot of Paladins. They're not elite boosted, so we won't have as much issue. If we wanted to make it easier, we could have done Pyromancer, or could have done Mortars again. But as long as the Paladins are not elite boosted archers can just kind of mow down them. So here's a wave of Paladins, and you can see they are going down fairly quickly. The reason they were so strong last time is because the Holy Paladins heal each other every time they do damage. So again, we're at the end of the base. Anytime you're under 50 seconds, you want to stop spawning troops and start spawning mummies. Mummies. Because the troops, they will not reach the castle gate. And at this point, it is just a race against the clock. And our troops are barely able to make it into the fight in time. And takes down that castle gate. And there we have it. That is the attacking tip right there. Archers, mummies, pyromancers. And if you do run into a paladin heavy base, you can use archers, mummies, and mortars. So those are some great troop combinations and spell combinations right there. Shield, Sonic Blast, Bladestorm. Or if you don't have the Sonic Blast, Shield, Firestorm, Bladestorm,